Hello again. It's Bonus Dad back with another Uncle Wiggily story. As I told you yesterday, Uncle Wiggily Uncle Wiggily Long Ears is a rabbit gentleman who was written about by Howard Roger Garis, a newspaperman in the last century, who wrote thousands of these stories that were collected into books. And the one I read yesterday, we saw Uncle Wiggily Long Ears and Grandpa Goosey Gander marooned on a desert island after they shipwrecked against the island. And so this is the continuation of their story and their adventures on the desert island in the Duck Pond Ocean. This is Uncle Wiggily and the Coconut Monkey. "Well," said Grandfather Goosey Gander as he and Uncle Wiggily sat under the tree drinking the milk of the coconuts, which the monkey had thrown down to them, "this desert island on which we have been shipwrecked isn't such a bad place after all." "No, indeed," agreed Uncle Wiggily. "I thought we certainly would die of thirst here, or else that we would starve to death. But if there are coconuts, there may be other nice things to eat growing on trees, and we can stay here for some time. It was a good thing you saw the monkey and that he was in a coconut tree." "Oh, you can always depend on that," spoke Grandfather Goosey Gander. "Whenever you see a monkey, unless he works on a hand organ or in a circus, you will find coconut trees." And then all of a sudden, the monkey up in the tree, who had thrown the nuts down, stopped curling his tail with fire tongs and asked, "Are you two gentlemen down there nice and comfortable?" "Indeed we are," replied Uncle Wiggily. And then he told how he and Grandfather Goosey Gander had been shipwrecked on the desert island because the whale had pulled their ship along when there was no wind, as I told you in another story. "And now that you are here on this island, what are you going to do?" asked the coconut monkey, as he looked in a mirror to see if his whiskers were on straight. "We don't know what we are going to do," replied Uncle Wiggily. "I suppose we must stay here until our ship floats again, and then we can go on board and keep on sailing around the world so as to lose my rheumatism. But we can't sail as long as our ship is stuck on this desert island." And that's why he went sailing, or went for his adventures, was he was trying to lose his rheumatism, was Uncle Wiggily. "Very true," agreed the monkey, "but you know that there is a tide here. That is, the water in the Duck Pond Ocean rises very high twice every day. And if you watch out, you may be able, when the tide is high, to float your ship away from the land and sail on again." "Fine," cried Grandfather Goosey Gander. "You stay here, Uncle Wiggily, and gather up any coconuts that may fall down, and I will go down to the shore and watch the ship. As soon as it floats in the water again, I will call you, and we can go on sailing around the world." So the old rabbit gentleman thought that would be just the proper thing, and he remained sitting under the coconut tree while Grandpa Goosey went to the shore of the desert island. And the monkey stayed up in the tree, curling his tail with the fire tongs until it was all frizzed and waved and conglomerated, and he looked just like a lady before she goes to a party. "Why are you curling your tail so much?" asked Uncle Wiggily as he looked up at the monkey. "Because I am going to a peanut dance tonight," replied the monkey. "A peanut dance? What is that, pray tell?" asked the old gentleman rabbit, as he looked in the empty coconut shell to see if it held anything more to eat. "Oh, a peanut party," answered the monkey, "is a party where the one who gets the most peanuts wins a prize. Most always the elephant wins, for he can pick up a whole bag full of nuts in his trunk. But I have been practicing by myself in the past few days, taking little white stones on the beach and making believe they were peanuts. I found that if I used my tail as well as my four paws, I could pick up a lot of peanuts, many more than the elephant. So I'm curling my tail in order that it can pick up peanuts much better." Excuse me. "Then with that and my paws, I'm sure I will win the prize." "What is the prize?" asked Uncle Wiggily, tying a hard knot in one ear and a soft knot in the other. "A big bag of popcorn," answered the monkey. "But hark, I think I hear someone calling you." Uncle Wiggily quickly untied the knots from his ears and listened. Sure enough, he heard someone calling, "Uncle Wiggily, oh, Uncle Wiggily." Come as fast as you can. Whoop-de-doodle-doo. Why, that sounds like Mr. Cock-a-doodle the rooster, spoke the rabbit gentleman. Perhaps our ship is floated. I must see what is the trouble. So off he hopped with his very biggest hops, and soon he came to where Grandpa Goosey was standing on the beach of the desert island. But the ship hadn't floated, and there it was, still stuck fast in the sand, for the tide had not risen high enough. "What's the matter?" cried Uncle Wiggily. "Why did you holler so?" "Because a big sea robin just flew up out of the ocean and grabbed my tall hat off of my head and sailed away with it," answered the goose gentleman. "Took your tall hat?" cried Uncle Wiggily. "Oh, that is too bad." So he looked, and surely enough, the goose gentleman's hat wasn't on his head. "There he goes now," cried Grandpa Goosey, suddenly pointing up to the sky. "There he goes with my tall hat." And if you will kindly believe me, the sea robin was flying right across the desert island with the goose gentleman's tall silk hat. "Let's run after him," exclaimed Grandpa Goosey, and they both did. But land sakes, Flopsy Dub and a girl on roller skates, they soon saw that they never could catch the sea robin, who was a very queer bird indeed, with a lollipop for a tail. And on the sea robin flew, and soon he was almost out of sight. Uncle Wiggily and Grandpa Goosey ran after him, but they could not even see him until all of a sudden the sea robin came flying back again. "But he hasn't my hat," exclaimed Grandpa Goosey. "He has left it somewhere." So he has," cried Uncle Wiggily. "I know what to do. Wait for me." With that, he hopped off through the trees, and soon he was under the coconut one where the monkey was still curling his tail, ready to go to the peanut party. "Oh, please get Grandpa Goosey's tall hat," begged the rabbit gentleman of the monkey. "The sea robin flew off with it, and I'm sure he has left it in some tall tree where we can never get it. Will you get it for us?" "To be sure I will," cried the kind monkey. And then, to please Uncle Wiggily, the monkey stopped curling his tail, his own tail, I mean, not the rabbit's. And he looked in all the trees on the desert island, and soon in a pine tree with pink roses growing on it, the coconut monkey found the goose gentleman's tall hat, and he got it down and brought it to him. Then Uncle Wiggily was happy, and so was Grandpa Goosey, and also the monkey, who finished curling his tail. And the sea robin, who was going to make a stovepipe for his nest out of Grandpa Goosey's hat, was so much disappointed when he found it gone that he cried ice cream tears. But he used a boy's putty blower for his stovepipe, and that did very well indeed. And in the next chapter after this one, in case the pretty girl who was sewing sawdust on the rubber ball so it won't be hurt when it falls doesn't stick her needle in it and make all the wind come out, I'll tell you about Uncle Wiggily at the peanut party. And that's the end of that chapter for today. And next time we read, we'll read about Uncle Wiggily at the peanut party. Won't that be fun? This is BonusDad saying good night. Be kind to each other.